son came home from his dad's house with a bruise the size of a fist on his ribs. He told me he fell off a bike. He doesn't own a bike. Marcus is 7. He has my eyes and his father's stubbornness. And for 3 years after the divorce, I told myself that Daniel was still a good father, even if he was a terrible husband. I believed that because I needed to. Co-parenting is easier when you believe the other person is still fundamentally decent. Then my son started flinching. Not at loud noises, not at strangers, at me. When I reached for him too quickly, his whole body would tighten before he remembered it was safe. A pediatric therapist noticed it on our 3rd session. She pulled me aside and asked, very carefully, whether Marcus had described anything unusual happening at his father's house. I said no. She nodded slowly in a way that told me she didn't believe that was the whole truth. That night, I checked Marcus's tablet. He used it to video call Daniel on off weeks. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for a homework file, but the call history showed something that stopped my breathing entirely. 11 calls to a number saved as "Don't Tell Mom," all made from Daniel's house, all lasting under 2 minutes. I didn't confront Marcus. I called the number from a blocked line instead. A woman answered. She had a soft voice and she said hello twice before I hung up. I recognized the voice. It was Daniel's girlfriend, Renee, the woman he'd started dating 4 months after we separated, the woman I'd been told Marcus loved spending time with. I went back to the therapist the next morning and told her everything. She was legally obligated to file a report. That same afternoon, a caseworker showed up at Daniel's door. What they found wasn't what I expected. There was no physical abuse, no violence they could document. What they found was a 7-year-old boy who had been coached, systematically, carefully, to report that I drank, that I left him alone at night, that I hit him when I was angry. None of it was true. The bruise, Marcus finally admitted through tears, came from Renee grabbing him when he refused to repeat something she'd told him to say. Daniel was building a custody case against me using our son as the instrument. The caseworker sat across from me and explained what came next in a calm, professional tone, as if she were describing a weather pattern. Interviews, documentation, possible temporary reassignment of custody during the investigation. She said the word reassignment and I went completely still, because what she meant was that while they investigated whether I was abusive, my son might be sent to live with the people who were actually harming him. I called my lawyer from the parking lot, hands shaking so badly I misdialed twice. 3 weeks later, I sat in a family court waiting room with a folder of evidence, the call logs, the therapist's notes, a written statement from Marcus's school counselor who had also noticed changes in his behavior. Daniel sat 20 feet away in the same room, and he looked at me with an expression I still can't fully name. Not guilt, something closer to disappointment, like he was frustrated the plan hadn't worked cleanly. The judge reviewed everything and granted me temporary full custody pending a full investigation. Daniel's visitation was suspended. Marcus cried when I told him he wouldn't be going to Daddy's house for a while. Not from sadness, I realized, from relief, and that was almost worse than everything else, watching my 7-year-old exhale like he'd been holding his breath for months. The investigation is still ongoing. My lawyer says the evidence is strong. Daniel's lawyer says his client was simply advocating for more parental involvement. Last week, Marcus asked me if lying to protect someone you love is still lying. I asked him what made him think of that. He said Renee told him that what they were doing was protecting the family. I didn't answer right away. I looked at my son, with his bruised ribs and his careful eyes and his 7-year-old understanding of loyalty, and I realized I didn't have a clean answer to give him. I'm still not sure I do.